Hello everyone and welcome to this short tutorial on how to use Microsoft Teams. Now just before I get going, I do just want to clarify that in order to be able to access some of the platforms that I'm referring to today in this video, you will all need to have logged on to a college campus computer or desktop at least once before watching this video. Obviously, by logging on to a college desktop, you will have access to all of the platforms, some of which are listed here. So by creating a user profile by NCLT, you will have access to, amongst other things, Outlook, which is email, OneDrive, which is cloud storage space, and Teams, which is the platform that we're going to be discussing in this short video. Now, please be aware that not all teachers will be using Microsoft Teams at this stage, but if they are, you do need to know how to navigate around it. So, how do we actually get you onto the Teams system? Now, if you are in college and you are accessing the computers at a desktop in one of our classrooms, the auto homepage will load up as the portal, or if you just type it in on one of the computers, it will auto load essentially into that URL bar. If however you are accessing it from home, then you'll need to type in the full address. From there, you will see this screen load up, and it will give you access to Outlook, as I've already said, which is email, Cedar, which tutors should have discussed with you already, and the Moodle virtual learning environment. So that's what the portal will take you to. The option that we want you to select today for Teams is the Outlook icon. So as I've already referred to, in order to have access to Outlook and your email, you will have needed to have logged on at least one other occasion. So once you are into the portal and you've selected the Outlook option, it will come up with your accounts. Okay, so you will obviously need to use another account because you won't have gone in there yet. So add your account to that using your L number, sign in with the password provided, or if you've already changed that, then that will take you into your email account. So we're not technically interested in email today, but in order to get to Teams, it's best to log into Outlook first. So once you are in Outlook, okay, so you're in your email account, if you see in the top left hand corner, there is a small grid of dots, okay? You want to click on that small grid of dots and it will bring up a series of apps which we have available to us by having Microsoft, okay, on all of our computers and all of our profiles. The icon that you are looking for is the Teams icon. So it's kind of purpley blue and it's in the bottom right hand corner. So go ahead and select that for me. So when you click on that, if your teacher is currently using Teams, it should load up in this home space here, okay? So by clicking on the Teams icon in the far left hand panel, it will bring up any teams that you belong to. Like I say, some teachers might not have set this up yet, but if they have, you should already see them there. From here, I'm just going to tell you how to navigate your way around the very basics of Teams. So when you log on a desktop, okay, it will load this panel in the left-hand corner, this strip of buttons that you can click on. So there is activity, chat, Teams, assignments, calendar, and files. So we're just going to briefly look at what they each offer you, and then we're going to go into Teams, your classroom environment specifically. So activity is just basically the home page. The activity tab keeps you updated on recent posts from your teachers and any other students that have posted in that class recently as well. It will give you notifications, any DIL that might have been set. So you can see here, this is one of the activity pages from one of my own classes. I've announced that the summer homework is live. I've asked them to come and see me if they've got any queries regarding progression. So activity is literally just a feed basically. Moving on to the chat section, this is where you can talk directly, instant messaging with your teacher or any other students in your class. So you can communicate directly. It's a better way of talking than email, as it's much faster. And also, if there are a small group of you that want to discuss the same thing with your teacher, you could create a small group. You can even do a video conference call if you wanted to. If it's something that you're not sure of and a little group, if you want to talk to your teacher, or if it's just you on your own, then this is the easiest way. It's like instant messaging for you and your teachers. So that's the chat tab. The assignments tab, so moving down below the Teams icon, the assignments tab is a really good space to keep all of your DIL. So the assignments tab will show you any live assignments or DIL that you have, and it will also put them in the order in which they are due. So this is going to be really important to some of you because it will allow you to keep order over your workload. Also, not that we want to replace paper diaries or your phones, but this is a good way to just keep on top of all your homework so that you're not kind of going into your classrooms and saying, oh, I forgot that was due. This will always remind you. Your teacher can set up reminders that a homework deadline is approaching, but the assignments tab on Teams, if your teacher is using it, it will give you all of your listed DIL and it'll allow you to prioritise things. The next tab that I want to just look at, or the next feature that I want to just look at, is what an assignment actually looks like. So if we go back to the assignments kind of mainframe, you'll see them all listed. If we just go ahead and click on one, so this is something that I've set to my own students, it will give you a list of instructions, all right, that are nice and clear for you to follow. And what's good about accessing Teams is that not only is it just a list of instructions, you can have live web links that you can click on directly, and also any resources that are required in order to complete the DIL, they can also be attached to this. So it is really a good place to integrate all of those things rather than having them all on separate bits of paper or separate emails. It's just all in one place for you. So that's what an assignment will look like. Now what I'm just going to show you to do, and you might have to come back and watch this if your teacher does set you an assignment on Teams. But I'm just going to show you how to potentially submit a document to your teacher. If they've set you a document such as this one here, if I've attached that to my DIL, then my students might want to open that, type their answers onto it, and then submit that to me. So I'm just going to go ahead and very quickly show you how to do that. Okay, so if it's got an attached resource on the DIL, okay, you can download the document. So we want to open it up, all right, so click on the document. So you can see on the previous page, this is the exam question pack that I'd assigned. So we want to click the three dots in the top right hand corner once you've set to open it up, and we want to download it, okay. So we want you to download that document. Now, you can edit that document as you want, okay? So, for example, I have set my students a range of questions from this document. So, you go ahead and you put your answers in there, okay? You use it as a normal Word document, and then when it comes to saving, you can see here, you want to save it to OneDrive wherever possible, okay? So once you're happy with your answers, just save that document, okay, somewhere onto your OneDrive if that's possible. If not, save it onto a desktop. Then, if you go back into your Teams space, there is a functionality for you to just basically submit that piece of work straight back to your teacher. So you don't have to email them anything, you don't have to print anything out, there's no kind of hard copy. They will be able to see your answers straight away. So to submit the work, okay, you will need to select Add Work. So you can see down here in this kind of left-hand corner. If you have saved it to the OneDrive, then the resource will load automatically and it will become available in this little space here. If you've not and you've saved it to the desktop, then you want to go for the upload from this device option. Once the document is added, and you can see that I've saved it as a student and added it to the bottom there, You will then select hand in and you'll get a nice kind of animation to notify you that that's been sent off to your teacher. If you've made a mistake, you can also withdraw that submission straight away. But your teacher will get notified as well that you've submitted that piece of work to your teacher. So that's how you would basically use the assignments tab. And if you want to submit work electronically, which I'm sure some of your teachers will want you to be doing, that's how you would do that. But you can always come back and watch that step if you feel necessary. The other thing that I just want to show you is the files aspect of Teams. So back to this left-hand panel, and it's the bottom icon. The files will allow you to access anything that's on OneDrive, anything that's in Teams, and anything that your teacher has also uploaded that they feel is necessary for you to access. So again, it's all in one place for you here. So the next thing we're just going to have a quick look at is how to actually navigate your specific class team. Think of this as a virtual classroom environment, okay? So if we go to this left-hand panel, all right, and select the Teams icon, okay, so it's the third one down. And as I've already said, those teams that you belong to will already come up. Okay, now the first thing that we need you to do is to switch on the notifications. Otherwise, this whole exercise will be pointless because you won't ever know what's going on there. So once you select the team that you are part of, if you click on these little dots next to where it says General and it says Channel Notifications, it will then bring up this new box here. We want you to select for all new posts where it says banner and feed, to scroll down and make sure that is selected. You want to also select include all replies, and then for channel mentions, same option, banner and feed. Once you've done that, click save. So once you've switched on all the notifications, what will you actually see in your virtual classroom? Going from the tabs on the top, we'll go from left to right. The Conversations tab on the far left is exactly the same as what I showed you with the feed. It just shows you the most recent classroom kind of activity. The only difference between the Conversations tab in here and the feed tab is that if you belong to more than one team, then in the feed tab they will all come up, okay? But this is just your class specifically. With the files, then you may be able to get into some classroom resources. So I mentioned previously that your teacher might upload important resources that they want you to be able to access, okay? It may also be things that they've specifically done in their lessons. So if you've missed a lesson or if you simply want to refresh material, then it's likely that your teacher will have added materials into this file section up there. The next tab, all right, that I'm interested in is this kind of pin tab, okay? So towards the right-hand side of those top options is basically where your teacher can keep relevant, topical, important information. So you can see in my little classroom, I've pinned some videos. I've pinned a link to a quizzes, all right, an electronic quiz that I've set as homework. So you really do need to keep your eyes peeled for that pin tab at the top, because you may be missing out on important resources or extra resources that might be able to boost your grade. So just keep an eye on those. Now, the final thing that I want to show you how to do is use it on your phones. Everything that we have previously done here is all what it will look like on the desktop. Now, obviously, I imagine a lot of you will be using this on your phone. So how are we going to do that and what will it look like? So first things first, you will need to download 2 apps in order to do this. You'll need to download the Teams app as well as the OneNote app for your time in college. It is also worth noting that if you're using an Apple phone, because all of this is Microsoft based and a lot of the documents are Word documents and PowerPoint documents, you might need to download, in fact you will need to download a PowerPoint app and a Word app, because sometimes those kind of documents don't open correctly on Apple systems, because obviously Apple doesn't run primarily Microsoft, okay? So So you might want to get those apps all downloaded. So once you've done that, we're going to go ahead and look at how Teams looks on your phone. Okay, so just bear with me. I'm just going to change the landscape. It'll look a bit weird, and then we'll open it up on the phone screen. Okay, so my Teams app is in this folder here for work. And if I go into my Teams, okay, the first time that you log in, it'll bring up activity. Okay, so this is just my general activity. If you click the Teams icon, third one along at the bottom, okay, it will bring you your list of Teams. Then what you need to do in order to access all those materials and resources that I've just been through earlier, all right, and the desktop option, you basically just need to select whichever class it is. So for me, I'm going to go in this class here, PSY E1, which is my psychology E group, and you always need to click General. Okay, so in there you will see the first thing that loads up is the chat. So this is basically all my instructions to my class, and they've got that straight away on their phones. You can see the most recent thing I've asked them to do is to log onto the new Moodle pages and get signed up, and they can tell me when they've been able to do it by just giving me a little thumbs up. So that's the chat. Files is one of the places that you're going to go to more regularly. So you can already see here with my Year 13 class, I've got several folders that are already loaded up. And if we go in any one of those, you'll see little documents. Okay, so get used to accessing that. Remember, in order to do that, okay, it is just the Teams option at the bottom. Select whichever class it is and always click General. What you can also do is if you click the More option on the far right hand corner, the More option will take you into any of those videos that I've said have been pinned by your teachers, okay? So there's all sorts of little bits and bobs that I've put in here for mine, and it also has the Assignments tab. So a lot of my students have said they found it difficult to find that on their phones, okay? Accessing it on a smartphone. So it's under More and Assignments. So if we click on Assignments, you can see previous assignments that I've set. And then if we click on Summer Independent Learning, apologies, I just have to turn it to Student View. This is exactly what my students will see, okay? So that is what you will see, okay, in each of your Teams spaces, okay? So get used to navigating around that. Now, one important function that you will need to do, and I'm going to go to a new team that I have set up. So this one is brand new for me, okay? This is one of my new Year 12 groups. So when you first log in, like I say, it'll load up the chat. You can see that I've posted a couple of announcements for mine. Now, in order to get notifications on your phone, you need to click this little icon here. It looks a little bit like a filing cabinet with an arrow on it, okay? You must follow the channel. In order to get the notifications, all right, and receive all the information, you want to click follow there. You also need to make sure, okay, that in the settings, okay, you've got the notifications switched on, okay? So when you click on that, you can go into the profile, you can actually go into notifications and amend it accordingly, okay? But we want all the notifications switched on for Teams so that everything is coming through onto your phone, okay? So down the bottom, other than your Teams option, you've got the general activity, as I said before, the chat feed, okay? You've got the assignments, so that will be all of your assignments, no matter what the subject, will all be loaded up there. So that is how you would use Teams on a desktop, but also on your phone. And if you have any questions or queries, then obviously you can ask your teacher, but you can always send me a direct email.